Welcome to today's video on naturalization risk and minor traffic accidents. We'll explore how civil fault in a fender bender differs from criminal issues and what the N400 actually asks. We'll also cover honesty, when accidents become real barriers, and how to prepare. Next, let's walk through the agenda. Here's the roadmap for today. We begin with a big picture overview and a legal disclaimer. Then we'll differentiate civil fault from criminal charges, decode what the N400 really asks, and emphasize honesty. We'll discuss when accidents become genuine barriers, go through a preparation checklist, review several diagrams, take quick quizzes, and end with key points and a wrap-up. Next, a brief but important disclaimer. This presentation provides general educational information and does not create an attorney-client relationship. Immigration outcomes depend on individual facts, jurisdiction, and timing. Always confirm current USCIS policies and consult a qualified immigration attorney for personalized guidance. With that clarified, let's zoom out for the big picture. At a high level, a standard fender bender resolved by insurance is generally a civil matter and does not typically jeopardize naturalization. USCIS evaluates good moral character primarily through the lens of criminal history and honesty. Therefore, transparency about any law enforcement interactions is essential. Issues become serious when criminal conduct or fraud is involved. Next, let's visualize the decision logic with a flowchart. This flowchart illustrates how USCIS typically distinguishes civil incidents from criminal conduct. An accident alone does not create a problem. If the incident includes DUI, reckless driving, or hit and run, that suggests criminal involvement and can impair good moral character, requiring legal counsel and documentation. If there's only a traffic citation, you should disclose it and bring proof of resolution. If an insurance company merely found you at fault, that remains a civil issue. Disclose any police interaction and bring insurance records. Note the warning. Misrepresentation can result in immediate denial, regardless of the underlying event. Next, let's clarify the difference between civil fault and criminal charges in more detail. Civil fault reflects negligence and is typically handled by insurance, usually without negative moral character implications. Criminal charges, by contrast, are prosecuted by the state and can harm your eligibility. The mere presence of police does not automatically mean a criminal matter. What matters are citations, formal charges, and court involvement. To reinforce this distinction, let's compare them side by side. On the left, civil fault involves negligence and is generally handled by insurance without criminal records or convictions. These incidents ordinarily do not bar eligibility for naturalization. You should still bring relevant documents like insurance determinations and any police reports. On the right, criminal charges such as DUI, reckless driving, hit and run, or fraud involve prosecutors and criminal courts. These can jeopardize good moral character and require certified court records, proof of completion of any penalties, and often legal counsel. Next, let's decode what the N400 actually asks. The N400 asks whether you have ever been arrested, cited, detained, or confined by law enforcement, as well as whether you have been charged with a crime or offense. Arrested or detained means being taken into custody or officially held. Calling 911 does not count. A citation means a ticket was issued. A charge is a formal criminal accusation by the government, which is entirely different from an insurance company's determination of fault. Use the checklist mindset. If you were arrested or detained, list it. If cited, provide the ticket and resolution. If charged, provide certified court records. If the only issue is insurance fault, treat it as a civil matter, but disclose any law enforcement interaction. To make this concrete, let's look at an examples matrix. This table provides practical examples. For a fender bender with an insurance fault finding but no ticket and no police interaction, there may be nothing to report on arrest, citation, or charge. If an officer issued a ticket, you must disclose it and bring proof of resolution. If there are criminal charges like DUI or hit and run, disclose and bring certified court records and proof of completion. Even if you filed a late incident report without a ticket, be prepared to explain and bring the report number. Before moving on, let's test your understanding. Question: if an insurance company found you at fault for a minor accident, no ticket was issued, and there were no criminal charges, how should you answer the N400 question about being charged with a crime or offense? Options are A. Yes, because insurance fault equals a charge. B. No, because insurance fault is a civil matter and not a criminal charge. C. Yes, because any accident triggers criminal liability. D. It depends only on whether the other driver complained. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is no, because insurance fault is a civil matter and not a criminal charge. An insurance company's decision does not equate to a state-initiated criminal charge.
Next, let's emphasize honesty and disclosure, which are critical to success.
USCIS emphasizes honesty. If you interacted with police, even without a citation or arrest, be prepared to explain and provide documents. Misrepresentation can result in immediate denial and future consequences. When in doubt, consult qualified counsel to address uncertainties before filing. With that in mind, let's visualize the journey from accident to interview with a sequence diagram. This sequence diagram shows the timeline of actions. You may or may not contact police, who could conduct a safety check and possibly issue a citation. You file an insurance claim and receive a civil fault determination. You then submit your N-400, proceed through biometrics, and attend your interview. There, you provide documents and clear explanations.
USCIS decides based on good moral character and candor.
In an alternative path, if there is a citation, you disclose it with proof of resolution. If there is a criminal charge, you seek legal counsel, resolve the case in court, then provide certified dispositions to USCIS. Next, let's translate this into a practical preparation checklist.
Here are your action steps. First, collect insurance documents such as fault letters, claim numbers, and photos. If you were cited, bring the ticket and proof of compliance. If charged, obtain certified court dispositions and consider legal counsel. Prepare a concise written explanation of the incident, including responses and outcomes. Bring identification and any relevant report numbers. Finally, practice honest, direct answers to the N-400 questions. Next, let's define when accidents become actual barriers. Accidents become barriers when they involve criminal charges such as DUI, reckless driving, or hit and run, or when they involve crimes of moral turpitude such as fraudulent insurance claims. A pattern of dangerous behavior or noncompliance can also harm good moral character. Unresolved cases may delay or damage eligibility.
To visualize overall risk categories, let's look at a pie chart. This pie chart suggests that most situations are civil-only incidents that pose low risk. Resolved traffic citations present low to moderate risk when properly disclosed with proof. Criminal charges represent a smaller portion but carry high risk. Fraud or moral turpitude, while less common, poses very high risk relative to eligibility.
With that perspective, let's take another quick quiz.
Question: which scenario is most likely to jeopardize your naturalization application? Options are A. Insurance fault determination after a minor fender bender, with no ticket and no injuries. B. A resolved failure to yield ticket with proof of payment. C. A DUI charge arising from an accident. D. Calling 911 to report an incident with no citation. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is a DUI charge arising from an accident. DUI is a criminal offense and may harm the good moral character assessment, requiring disclosure and certified court records. Next, let's consolidate the most important takeaways. These are the essential points. First, civil fault does not equal a criminal charge. Insurance findings alone typically do not bar naturalization. Second, always disclose arrests, citations, and charges truthfully with supporting documents.
Third, criminal conduct and fraud can seriously impact good moral character. Fourth, misrepresentation often causes more harm than the underlying event. Finally, prepare proactively with records, succinct explanations, and legal counsel when needed. To situate all this in time, let's look at a timeline. This timeline places your incident within the statutory period for good moral character, typically the 5 years before filing, or 3 years if applying based on marriage to a U.S. citizen. It highlights when the accident occurred, when any citation or charges were resolved, and the milestones of filing, biometrics, interview, and ultimately decision or oath.
Even incidents outside the statutory period can be considered if they reflect on present moral character or reveal a concerning pattern.
Now let's wrap up with a summary.
In summary, minor civil accidents typically do not derail naturalization. Understand the N400 terms and answer precisely. Honesty is essential, as misrepresentation can lead to denial. Criminal charges and fraud present real barriers, and warrant counsel and comprehensive documentation. Prepare a clear paper trail and a concise explanation to support a smooth interview. Finally, let's close with a quick thank you and a call to action.
Thank you for watching. If this was useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Share your questions and experiences in the comments so others can learn from them as well. We appreciate your support and look forward to helping you navigate the process.